Sups up everyone, welcome to another video. Wow, to me it's only been a couple minutes, to you guys it's probably been a day.
Much later.
But as promised in the other video, if you guys have seen it, it's about the usage rate when it comes to Honkai Star Rail. I told you guys we're gonna look at the sales numbers, and what can I say? I'm not gonna say I'm surprised, but it's reflective of what is to be expected based off of Honkai's current performance. What do I mean by that? Okay, is Blade a better unit than Jingyuan? Yes he is. Is Kafka a better unit than Jingyuan? Yes she is. However, do I anticipate Kafka outperforming Jingyuan's banner? No, I don't. Why is that? All right, so if you guys just look on screen, wow, oh wow, 131 million US dollars just on China iOS. I think China alone, probably give or take, across all like Huawei app gallery and Google Plays, if they use that very much over there, I think China alone has pulled around maybe 200 million, roughly, give or take 200 million US dollars in China, give or take, or very close. I don't think it's going to be too far above 200 million if it surpasses that, but wow. All right, let's just say that. But the true Queen King banner is still seele. This is the power of a new gacha game. This is the power of a game that has just come out, which has all the publicity hype going for it. That banner likely won't be touched for a short little while, unless they really make like the best of the best. There's a chance that that banner might not be touched, period. Because for reference, I remember if you're looking at Genshin Impact nowadays, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Genshin Impact, some of the best banner sales are around 40 million. I think if not like very close to 41 million. It was a Hu Tao Yelan banner. Somebody can fact check me, but if that's the case, this banner likely won't be touched ever. Right, there's a good chance even rerun banners comes back, like I don't see them really topping this banner because this is not that many players anymore. However, I think we're looking more so at Kafka and Jingyuan and some of these other units. Now, if you guys watched my previous video, Luocha surprisingly actually has a 100% usage rate in China right now when it comes to MOC 10 clears, meaning that the top meta players who have submitted their data, yes, these people are really try hard players. They submit their data for people to publish and make charts with, and every single person who has cleared MOC 10 has had Luocha in their team. Now, what does this mean? It means that he's probably right now, I mean, not probably, he's the best healer people prefer to have on their team. Right now, Luocha is just smashing it out of the park when it comes to overall coverage. It's also fair to say that his cleansing, his enemy buff removal is just top notch. Overall, the stuff that he brings is simple yet effective. But unfortunately, he will end up as the worst limited banner sale unit to date. But now let's dial it back, right? Jingyuan actually has insane usage rates, more than seele. Now you could say that, okay, maybe right now it's more favorable for Jingyuan, but seele is always going to be the best unit available if you can one-shot the enemies. We've talked about this in the past, is that once something more difficult than MOC 10 comes out, seele might start to struggle. The main issue with Honkai Star Rail right now is that when we talk about the difficulty level, MOC 10, most people would say it's very roughly, right, matched to maybe floor 11 of Genshin Impact. If you guys don't know what that is, Genshin has 12 floors in the Spiral Abyss, and if we're saying MOC 10 is equivalent roughly to the difficulty of Abyss 11, that's saying that Honkai Star Rail, when it comes to difficulty ceilings, has room to grow. Now, of course, we have Simulated Universe as well as a piece of endgame content, so hoyoverse might want to balance their game around these two endgame options, so neither of which are going to be expanded upon too much or the difficulty being spiked up much more, because the more you spike difficulty, the more time you have to spend playing these content, which eventually can become repetitive to many players and they don't enjoy that aspect of gameplay. And hoyoverse maybe want to have people play both Genshin and Honkai simultaneously and also share this portion of the player base with other gacha games in the future. Let's say Wuthering Wave comes out, hoyoverse wants to make sure they don't want to take up too much of your time, and at the same time they want you to have some sort of gratification. That being said, Honkai Star Rail already is more combat focused even when it comes to their events as opposed to something like Genshin Impact, because Honkai Star Rail, the real appeal is their real combat system. Now let's be honest, their characters are of course top notch, but because of their limited movement in the world, like it's not a complete open world and it's going to be difficult to code new interactions into the game. Right now we have very simple left click for attacking and then dashing and then using their skill, right? So imagine if they want to make something that's more interactive, event based, kind of casual event for fun stuff, they're gonna have to code new actions into the overall movement of the characters. We can't even jump, so that's why I think they have to lean back more onto the combat aspect or just redesign completely a new event format that is separate from the current game model, which I think they don't want to do that too often because it just eats up so much resource, and Honkai Star Rail doesn't generate as much revenue as Genshin. Well, I say that, but the luocha banner, the Kafka banner right now currently is doing better at least than the Eula banner for Genshin Impact. So who knows? At the rate Genshin's going, Honkai might take over as the big cash cow. But regardless, I do want to always point to the sales numbers as a means to showcase trendy how excited players are for the game title, right? Regardless if you're saving for a unit that's coming out in like 10 years or you want to pull most of your favorite waifus, you skip one or two here and there, it doesn't matter. The reality is that right now it's very difficult to reach the numbers that we were at back when the game first released. Silverwolf was the last banner that people really kind of went hard on, and of course for good reason, because of her unique mechanic. Now, one unit that I really want to look at to gauge how the game currently is doing is fuxuan. So you can bet that once fuxuan comes out, I would want to come back and reevaluate the current state of the game, because fuxuan is going to be a unit a lot of these players who pull for seele, who pull for Silverwolf, they're going to be looking to complete their mono quantum teams. Even though I've made videos saying mono quantum is going to be good, but it's not going to be like a meta redefining team that everybody has to play. I don't think it's going to be that good. It's going to be good but not great. There, I think that's the best way I can sum it up. So for the people who already have these units, pulling for fuxuan is going to complete this perfect 4 quantum team that they've been dreaming of. Now, that being said, I expect fuxuan to be better than Blade, better than Kafka, and certainly better than luocha. If fuxuan cannot reach close to 20 million, so I think Kafka might end up around Blade, give or take, maybe a little bit more, right? Maybe Kafka herself can reach 20 million, but I don't see Kafka outperforming Jingyuan and certainly not outperforming Silverwolf. Again, I could be wrong, but looking at fuxuan, I think fuxuan should get closer to Jingyuan. The biggest problem I think that will prevent fuxuan from being successful is the fact that she's a preservation unit whose buffs at C0 or E0 for the Honkai players. However, the one thing that I think will prevent fuxuan from truly outperforming all these banners is the fact that she's a preservation unit. But yeah, I mean, at E0 she's going to have some buffing capabilities. She also increases her match HP. There's a lot of things that she does. She has really cool wink wink burst animation and whatnot. But all that fluff aside, at the core, she's just a unit that's supposed to keep your team alive and give you a little bit more crit rate. Like at the core, that's it. Now people will say, Walrus, are you saying a combination between a preservation and harmony unit right now is not going to break the meta? Not the way she is at E0 at least. Now, I think at E0 she should be able to self-sustain your entire team comp. I think that's a given. However, if you truly want to play for quantum right now, I believe you're gonna have to bring the new 4-star healer links, so you're gonna have no problems with survivability. The problem starts becoming that fuxuan as an harmony unit isn't that great. Is she going to be better than double harmony 1 DPS options right now? Or is she going to be better than one harmony, one nihility option? Ultimately, it's going to come down to the theory crafters, the number crunchers to figure out, is for quantum, mono quantum, better or worse than just not using mono quantum and still running a harmony, nihility plus a healer, or double harmony with the DPS? Is seele really going to be better if you run mono quantum with her, or is she going to be better if you run a proper DPS hyper carry variation for her team? Because the last thing you want to do is pull for a unit that actively makes your team or your overall DPS worse. That aside, I do think E1 fuxuan is going to be insane. Like, the value there is good. Even though it's a very simple eidolon, I think it is spectacular. It actually rivals some of the better harmony characters out there. Honestly, that's why, like, the cons for fuxuan banner is the fact that she's a preservation, and at E0 she's not that good, and at E0 she might be questionable to be replacing some of the other team options we have. However, the pros for her is that if you just want to go a little bit further, suddenly she becomes like a very good overall unit that is already a consolidation of different character archetypes. Insane, absolutely crazy. I mean, to think we're only like 4 patches in to this game, and there's so much change to how we see play and anticipate for future releases. Personally, myself, I'm waiting for Jinglu. That's it. I want to kind of round out my ice options. I have fire options that I haven't built yet, but eventually I'm going to work on them as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. This is the data right now. It's not really reflective of character performance because a lot of people were just blindsided by the hype. And that's why we always tell you guys, do your own research, watch more videos, don't just buy into the blind hype. Now, of course, looking at leaks and blah 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 blah, people also get a lot of information that way. But again, Blade, Kafka, they both received nerfs. Imagine if none of them got nerfed or adjusted. They're gonna just break the game. But of course, the same thing happened to Jinguan. Everybody wins some, everybody lose some. And that's going to be that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't get too crazy down in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, urge y'all to stay safe. Peace. Bye bye.